come ashore here in French Guyana, and our attempt is to find the space station. Apparently there are tours around the space station, so that's what we're going to see if we can do. We're also trying to find a chandlery. Apparently it's the only one in French Guyana. A coffee and a croissant, please.
What would you like? Just black coffee or?
Yeah, black. Oh, no, I'll have a cappuccino. British Guyana. Interesting place. The river runs really hard. All the pilot books are wrong. It's very shallow. The entrance is really shallow. If you're coming this way, we've got 2.3 meters draft, the same as our friends Stefan and Anna, and it was 2 hours before high water, and we struggled to get in on almost a spring tide. The channel is supposed to be dredged, but it obviously hasn't been dredged for many years. There's a couple of pontoons here. One's a fishing pontoon, one is a pontoon that was given to them by the space station. There's a security guard at the gate, and it's used to take all the people to the islands on the day trips. There are boats there that look like they've been there since year dot. Once loved, I think you could call them. It's not somewhere where you can get your boat, you can tie up or do anything with your boat. You've got to have to anchor in the river, and the holding is not good, let me tell you. It really is not good. It must be very, very soft, sandy mud, and we were fine for 2 days, and then all of a sudden it starts to move. We're hopefully fine today. We've hopefully got the anchor well tugged in yesterday, but even so, Stefan is a bit concerned this morning about his boat, and we're just having a coffee and a croissant, then we're going to go and check on them. So we've arrived at the space station, and we've just now got to see if we can get a tour, which we might or might not be able to do.
Well, maybe not today, but we'll see what we can do. There's a bus tour arriving, so maybe we can tag on the end with them. Who knows?
So we couldn't get a trip today. We've had to book on standby. So many people want to see this place, and that's not till Wednesday. If we can't get on the Wednesday one, it's Thursday. So we just now got to work out whether we can afford to stay here because of the tides and getting out of the river. But for now, we're going to have a look around the museum. Even for the museum, all the bags have to be checked, and then we're allowed through. Yeah, the museum's quite interesting, and we've learnt from the museum that there's a launch roughly every 6 to 8 weeks. So we're all checked in for the tour. Next stop is Mars.
I've even got a badge.
A badge?
Yeah, I've got my badge.
That's a visitor badge for Mars, and I think launch time is about
5 minutes.
5 minutes. So we got to get all in our space suits and get ready to go. Just on our way to security. Got to hand in all our weapons now. Quick security check, and we have to hand in all our sharp objects. Like the multi-tool I carry with me for tightening all the camera bits up, and Stefan has had to handle the small pocket knife that he carries. So, but apart from that, we're all good.
Et depuis le centre spatial, à l'intérieur de ces containers lumineux, nous trouvons les éléments de l'entreprise.
This is the Russian Soyuz launch pad with the exhaust gas runoff area in front of us. It was last used 6 weeks ago. The building retracts on railway lines prior to launch.
Ah oui, prévoyons.
So the launch table has relaxed, so that's why you have red This part over here, I don't know if you have seen it at the entrance of the facilities, that's the main stage. That's the tank of the Vulcan engine. Inside we will put liquid hydrogen, liquid oxygen. And here you have the electronic brain, so that's the computer which permits to the rocket to be completely autonomous. Nobody pushed the red button to make the rocket lift off. If the rocket becomes dangerous, they will push a red button to make the rocket explode. And then the last part is the fairing, the top of the rocket, and inside they will put the satellite. Mostly we launch to the east for telecommunication satellite, internet, mobile phone, TV, because 90% of our activity is for telecommunication satellite. 8% is for scientist satellite and 2% military satellite.
And what happens to all the debris, all the parts?
Yeah, so we don't retrieve anything from the rocket. After 2 minutes and 20 seconds, there is no more fuel, no more solid propellant inside. So the booster will be separated and will go into the ocean. When you light the firebox, it will burn until there is no powder inside. So for the booster is exactly the same. The solid propellant will burn until there is no more inside. So they will be separated and they will fall down into the sea.
So there's lots of cases.
Yeah.
All swimming in the sea.
They will be.
How many rockets did they have?
Behind me we have the launch pad for the Ariane 5 rockets, and that's the launch that we just missed. We didn't quite get here in time for that one. And behind me here is the launch pad for the Vega rockets. That gives us 3 different launch pads here for 3 different sizes of rockets. The smallest is the Vega, then it's followed by the Russian Soyuz, and then it's followed by Ariane 5, and they're building the launch pad for Ariane 6, which is due to launch in 2020. Been given some quite disturbing news actually. The solid rocket boosters from Ariane 5, in fact none of the bits from the rockets are actually recovered, and the solid rocket boosters burn for about 2 minutes 20 seconds, and after that they're completely empty and they jettison from the main body of the rocket and are left to fall back to Earth and fall into the Atlantic Ocean. We just raised a query, having just sailed across the Atlantic Ocean. We were sailing right underneath the flight path, roughly where the rocket boosters will hit the sea, and we just said, well, what about us underneath? You know, these things are travelling, by the time they hit the water, some approaching the speed of sound, 700 miles an hour, 650, 700 miles an hour. You're never going to hear these things coming, you're never going to get a chance to see them, let alone try and steer out of their way in a yacht that's doing just 7 or 8 knots. We're going to see the control tower, which is called Jupiter.
It's first the VIPs, and if you have some seats left, we have some other site for Agadir, situated at 7 kilometers away from the Tajman. Here we are at 12 kilometers, okay? But you can feel the stress for the people, to see the people walk. So that's
What's
fine.
the difference between this and the other one where we have been in the bunker?
Yeah. In the bunker, they will check the rocket, if the rocket is ready to go. And then they will send the message to here.
Okay.
Here, they will centralize the messages coming from everywhere, weather station, rocket. The message for rocket will be coming from the bunker, okay? The message from the weather station will be coming from the weather station. The message from the satellite will be coming from the S5 building, the payload preparation building. Everything will be centralized here.
Okay, so
Here
this is a
we check.
headquarter.
Yeah, that's the control. Vega. The next version of Vega, which is going to be here by 2019. Au revoir, messieurs, dames, merci beaucoup. And then you have Ariane 6. Ariane 6 scheduled in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And they need lots of water.
Yeah, 1 million of liters of water poured on the table to reduce the noise. Because when Ariane 5 lifts off, it's 190 decibels. You understand decibels?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we put water to reduce the noise.
So we've turned up at another ice cream shop, and we're having some more ice cream. This is something that you'll find a lot of cruisers complain about. We have a huge river here, loads of places to anchor, and then that happens. This guy turned up yesterday afternoon and promptly proceeded to anchor far too close to us in a situation where the river really runs extremely fast and the boats are inclined to move sideways an awful lot. Not only is he very close to us, but he's directly behind Stefan, and if he was to drag, he would drag straight into Stefan, or vice versa. So yeah, it always happens in an anchorage. You'll hear cruisers complain about it all the time, and I don't know why. Boats must have some sort of magnetic field that attract other boats, but there we go. And if you get to this part of the world flying or doing an overland trip in South America and you want to go and visit the Devil Islands, then this just here is where all the ferries leave from, all the catamarans that you saw in the films of Devil Islands that we shot last week. That's where they all come from, and they head out here at about 8 o'clock in the morning in about an hour's time, and they're busy getting themselves all ready at the moment. So yeah, we should be out before them, hopefully. Perhaps they'll come past us. So here we can see just how close the islands are. It's only about 8 miles out there. You notice the colour of the water here, chocolate brown,
This ain't chocolate. It's like
mud brown.
sandy brown.
Well, I think it's mud, I don't think it's sand. I don't think there's much sand around these parts.
Pale colour.
But yeah, when you not sort of doesn't make you want to go in swimming. Water's quite shallow inshore, so we will have to stay about 50 miles off to go up the coast. Right, well, we've just passed the buoy K5. You can probably just see it in the background there. And we are 45 minutes after high water. We have 1.3 meters under the keel. So that shows you how shallow it is here. So this is one of the supply crafts going out to the islands, and to give you some idea of how much cross tide we've got, you can see how he is very much pointing up into tide and almost going sideways, and we are in fact doing the same thing. And I think we've got something like a 2-knot cross tide here, and not a lot of room to manoeuvre. We actually can't go anywhere else than where we are, so he's going to have to squeeze past us. But he's a landing craft, he won't draw much water. Just at the start of the entrance channel, so it's actually shallowest right out here, and it's now an hour since we left the mooring or left the anchorage. Give you some idea how long it's going to take you to get in. We've still got 1.2 to 1.4 meters of water underneath us, so not a lot of water, not a lot to play with here at all.